It's happening.
Hey, we're live.
And voila, are we live? Yes, we're live. Okay, good morning from Bali, beautiful souls. I am joined here today by the one and only, the legend herself, Kristie X Ord. Thank you so much for being here, Kristie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. Just before we went live, we were just having a little dance and we were talking about the more fun we have, the more money we make. And that's how we roll here. This is the high vibe tribe, the high vibe community. That's how we roll. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to interview you here in my tribe, in the Happy, Healthy, Wealthy tribe, which I started a couple of years ago, which is all about being those things, happy, healthy, and wealthy. And then the tribe, of course, is the community piece. And you've been a huge inspiration to me in your journey, and I would just love for you to share your story, because I know that a lot of people in this space will be inspired by what you've done, where you've come from and where you are now. And, a lot of people come into this space seeking something, seeking some sort of freedom, right? More time freedom, more location freedom, more financial freedom, more inner freedom for themselves, to feel fulfilled in their lives. And you've just really embodied all of that and been a huge inspiration to so many with this 3-step strategy that we teach in our master classes. So just love for you to share your story. Where did you start, and where are you now?
Amazing. Thank you so much. So good to be here. So, yes, hi, everyone. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kristie. I live in Australia. And I'm a mum of 3 and, very much everyday type of person who just chose to live a really extraordinary life because I was in enough pain to make a decision to change my life. So, a little bit about my backstory to give you some context around all of this is 10 years ago, left my corporate job. I thought that the way of success was going to be to, go to school, go to university, get good grades, and then go and get a good job. And, you work in that job until you change jobs a million times. But, whatever you do, it's till you're like 65 and then you retire, right? That's kind of how we're taught that you do things, and you ask for your 4 weeks off a year and you take your little holidays and all of that. And I quickly realized that journey was not going to be for me. I very quickly, thank God, realized that that was not the path for me. So, I got this good job earning 65 grand a year, and I thought, I've made it. Like, I thought that was like what success was, And about kind of 8 months into that journey, I was like, this is not for me. I saw a guy on Facebook that was Australian. He was living in Hawaii. He was making $30,000 plus on the internet per month, selling like products and services, and with automated processes in place. And he was living his dream life. So he was going traveling. He was doing all these fun things. And while he was living his life, he was getting paid. And I was like, I'm literally stuck in this office at 22 years old, hating my life. And this guy is like out there living the best life. And then I came, and this is the thing, when we open up ourselves to possibilities of a new way, things start to show up for us. So what started to show up for me was like, the book, The 4-Hour Work Week from Tim Ferriss. And I read that and I was like, that's it. Like, I can't unlearn what I've just learned. Like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to working in a job for somebody else's vision and dreams. Like, I'm not going to do that. Just getting by paycheck to paycheck and, wondering how I'm going to pay my rent plus live a good life, all these things, right? I was like, I'm not available for that anymore. I left my job and I went on a quest to become an entrepreneur, and I had no idea what an entrepreneur even was. I didn't know how to start my own business. I knew none of that. I didn't have any savings. I didn't know what I was doing. I just literally trusted that I would figure it out, right? Like Marie Forleo talks about, like, everything is figure outable. So I was like, I'm taking one of the biggest risks of my life here, and I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out, right, of the box. And I did that, and I went on for the first 5 years of that journey. I went on a big journey of figuring out how to create my dream life. I figured out really early on through working with John DeMartini around my values, and my highest value was freedom. And yet the life that I had created for myself wasn't in alignment with that. And it's very important to understand and know our values. What is our highest value? And are we living our life in accordance to that value? And so once I started to understand my life is like, my value is it's freedom as my highest value, I was like, I must create a life that allows me to be free in terms of not having to check my calendar or my bank account in order to say yes to the things that I want to say yes to. And that was the quest that I was on, trying to figure it out. And for the first 5 years, you know, this is the thing about creating success. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. I had lots of highs, I had lots of lows. I got scammed $10,000 from a manufacturer in China that I was working with. I was, trying to start a blender and juicer company. I created a cafe at one point and ended up having a nervous breakdown, and my brain stopped communicating with the rest of my body for my legs to for my feet to get on the ground, because I was having a nervous breakdown and I had stage 5 adrenal fatigue. So I went through a massive healing process. I tried many different things, right? I tried about kind of like 8 different business models in this 5 years, almost like throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what was actually going to work. I tried low ticket network marketing. I tried coaching and consulting. I was running webinars and, selling programs online, all of these types of things. And yet 5 years into the journey, I was still in the same position, broke, frustrated. I had my first baby on its way, and I was running around in this entrepreneurial circle, like running around, spinning my wheels, trying to figure out what am I going to do? What's it going to take? What's the strategy? What do I need to do to actually shift things so that I can live in accordance with my highest value being freedom? And that was when I was almost like asking, like, God, universe, whatever. I was like, show me something. I need something that is going to work, and it needs to work fast. I don't have time to figure it out now because I have a baby on the way, right? Like, I didn't have the time. I needed to have something that was going to work. And in those weeks after kind of setting this really strong intention, again, this is where things show up in our life, right? We're presented, we kind of ask for something and we're presented opportunities. And then it's up to us whether we lean in and go, yes, I'm being supported here. Or we're like, oh, sounds too good to be true, or this or that, or whatever it's going to be, right? And then that kind of dictates our future from there. So for me, I set an intention that came to me, and I learned 3 pillars, which is what Magdalena is teaching inside of this group and inside of her masterclasses. And literally I've taught these 3 pillars to thousands of people across the world. And I implemented these 3 pillars. And I'm, at home with the kids, and sometimes they just come in when you're doing an interview.
Why am I carrying this up?
One of the things that's amazing to me about Kristie is that she's popped out 3 kids in the middle of building her empire. I was just saying that it just amazes me that you popped out 3 kids while you're building your empire. It's just like
I've literally built my freedom business with babies on my boob. That's kind of like what I say.
I love it. It's true.
Yeah. So for me, I implemented these really 3 simple steps, and it worked. And it worked so much, in fact, that I went on to create within 90 days. I created 120K cash, and then I went on to create a 7-figure business within about 8 or 9 months. And it's kept scaling from there. And now I'm at a point in my life where I have literally, 700 to 900 high ticket sales go through my business every single month, and that's all on automation, right? And I'm living my best life. So remember when I was talking about this guy who was in Hawaii that was had this automation and all these things happening that were working for him, and he was living his life. I've now set that up, and I've taught, and I'm supporting so many other people to do the same, right? So my question is because a lot of people strive for 7 figures, right? There's a lot of people that are striving to create 7 figures. And I see a lot of people online that are creating 7 figures, but they're doing all these calls, launching all the time. They're the one wearing all of the hats. Their business revolves around them. So it's not actually a very smart and sustainable long-term business model. What a lot of people have online. Mm-hmm. Right. So my question is, what if you were to have and be able to create a 7-figure a year income that is literally becomes passive and automated? Right. That's what I'm connected to, and that's what I teach, because if I want to have freedom where I want to say yes to spontaneous holidays whenever I want, if I want to have say yes to whatever it is. I don't want to have to check my bank or my calendar. Whereas I see a lot of people that are creating 7-figure businesses, but they're doing speaking tours, they're flying all around the world, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're like, their life is just go, 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 go. I'm like, that's not what actually I'm connected to, right? And a lot of people aren't connected to that. They want to be able to make really amazing money. Yes, you've got to put in the time and the energy to build the foundations, but they want to make amazing money and have it as an investment that actually keeps paying them, right? Without them having to always be, working and doing all of the things and wearing all of the hats. So yeah, that's a little bit of my journey. And from going, and I kind of forgot to say that when I had my baby on my way, like we were in a place, this was only 5 years ago, we were in a place of literally putting $5 of fuel in our car at the time, getting evicted from our apartment, right? This was so stressful, being pregnant and having these things happen or going on. So putting $5 of fuel in my car, because that's all I could afford, and literally getting an eviction notice to move out of our apartment when I was pregnant, it was full on. And I was like, I have to, like, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And for me, like, one of the big things I learned on my journey is that in order for my life to change, I needed to start showing up as the 7-figure version of myself before my bank account looks like that. And a lot of people can't grasp this concept because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't invest into myself until I've got the money. Well, when's that ever going to happen? Do you know what I mean? You've got to actually start making decisions as if you were that identity now. So for me, I was like, cool. If I want to change my life, like massive things needed to shift. I started working massively on my money mindset. This is a huge one. I've never said in the last 5 years I can't afford something, because that is just like the most limiting thing ever. People just like are limiting themselves left, right, and center. So my money mindset is something I really worked on in conjunction with implementing these 3 pillars and really backing myself and believing in myself. And and being prepared to like actually change. Like nothing changes if nothing changes. So I was like, what I was doing was not working. So something had to change. And that comes with investing into ourselves. Like having an investor mindset means being able to invest money. Like the amount of money I've invested to get to where I am today was based on like investing before I had the money, right? Making the moves, trusting, backing myself in those moments, feeling like, oh, it's really scary and I can see this is going to have a return on investment, and really trusting that. So investing money and also investing time, right? And there's people out there who, don't create what they want to create because they're like, I'll wait until I have the time, right? When's that going to be? When are you going to have the time? I'll wait until I have the money, right? Like most people set these amazing goals for themselves at the start of the year, and then 6 months time, 12 months time, they're still in the same position. Nothing's actually moved forward because they're waiting until they have the time. They're waiting until they have the money, rather than I'm going to invest the time and money now. I'm going to find a way out of nowhere. I'm going to get resourceful. I'm going to have an investor mindset. And because of those decisions, that's when things change.
Right.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. That's I every time I hear your story, I'm just like, everything in me lights up. And like, we have this in common, that freedom is the top value. And I really like that, going back to like the core desired feelings and the core values, right? Of like, are you living your life in alignment with who you came here to be? Right. And I love this idea of investing in ourselves, because when we invest in ourselves, we never lose, right? It's not a debt that we then have to pay. It's an investment in ourselves that only improves us, as so that we can become who we came here to be. And I think another really amazing piece of what we have here is this community and how we do it together, where it's like we are individual, free, and sovereign. We have our own business. We're self-responsible leaders in this space, self-responsible new earth leaders, specifically in my tribe, because we're all about creating the new earth and what's possible, and just allowing the old systems to crumble as we invest our time and our energy in building the new and what's possible for humanity, but doing it together. And I love this, how we link arms, and there's so much support, and we don't have to do it alone anymore, because that was a part of my journey, was the solopreneur journey that was quite lonely and frustrating, and like, how do I do this? And can anybody look at this for me? And, all of that. And now being here, we have this tribe mentality, and it's like, we're like-minded. And the projects that people in this space are creating really blow me away. The legacy projects, the healing centers, the permaculture projects, and, you know, the schools, and, you know, the people in this space are really here to create a positive impact as well, right? It's one thing to fill up our own cup to overflowing so that we can have the vacations and all the things, but also can we have it overflowing enough that we give and we're of service to the world. And I love that philanthropy is a piece that's woven into the business model that we're doing here too, because it's not just about us and the Ferraris and the mansions. It's about us actually getting ourselves to a point where we can be givers and we can actually, you know, tangibly create the world that we actually want to live in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
So thank you so much, Kristie. I know you got a billion other places to be right now. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being the light of inspiration that you are, and for saying yes to yourself first, because you said yes, and the ripple effect of your yes, you know, across the world with thousands of people has just really been extraordinary. So thank you for your yes. Thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you. Have a beautiful day.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, everybody who showed up live. Do you guys have any takeaways? I'd love to hear your takeaways from what she said. If you want to jump into the comments, we can stay on for another minute. I see so many of you on there. Yay, so much inspiration, right? Kristie has just been a force of nature. And honestly, very often when we have our group calls together, she's got her baby, you know, she's breastfeeding as she's, you know, she's delivering, and she's, you know, she's built this empire so quickly, because when you find the right strategy and you recognize that, and you don't let your head get in the way, and you listen to your heart, and you listen to your soul's calling to pull you forward, that's what to listen to. Don't listen to, you know, the mind that wants to keep you limited, where we have all these limiting thoughts that hold us back. And like she said, investing in yourself is like such a key to have that investor mindset, and you know, start before you're ready. You know, the next step is right in front of you. You've got a whole tribe supporting you. So like just take that next step and trust that you're being supported, and trust that you can follow your own inner guidance. So let's cut it off there. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. I'm going to look through the comments later and respond if I need to any. So thank you, everybody. So much love. Have a beautiful day wherever you are, and we'll see you again soon.